He was on his way to school when police say a Central Kentucky teacher overdosed on drugs and had to be revived. What we've learned about the investigation.
Well, what goes through their mind? Why would they want to do something like that?
People in a Laurel County neighborhood are asking questions tonight after investigators say someone used a bow and arrow to kill a dog.
Lexington police have released some new information tonight about a home invasion in Lexington that ended with 2 people shot.
This is WKYT News at 6.
Good evening to you. Tonight, a Garrett County teacher faces multiple charges. Police say he was passed out in his car after using drugs.
They say they found Stephen Grubbs after his car rolled out of the parking lot and down a hill near the intersection of Highway 150 and Lee Drive in Stanford earlier today. WKYT's Garrett Weimer is tracking the investigation tonight. It's our top story at 6.
Neighbors say they saw the car come down the street here, swerve, cross over the road, and end up in a bank of trees and bushes. Police say they found Stephen Grubbs unconscious in his car, and paramedics used Narcan to revive him. At the hospital, investigators say Grubbs regained consciousness and told them he was on his way back to work when he pulled off at Fort Logan Church of Christ to shoot up with heroin and overdosed. Garrett County High School's website lists Grubbs as a special education teacher. On his Facebook, Grubbs lists himself as an assistant football coach as well. Grubbs was charged with DUI, third offense, possession of drug paraphernalia, and not having insurance. Officer Matthew Huddy, who was one of the first to arrive on the scene, says it's a sad case, evidence of a heroin epidemic that continues to grow.
Yes, very surprising. Very surprising, but that just goes to show you that it affects everyone.
The acting superintendent for Garrett County Schools tells us Grubbs has been suspended with pay pending further investigation. He would not answer any other questions. In Lincoln County, Garrett Weimer, WKYT.
Investigators say Grubbs will be back in court next month.
Investigators tell us they can't understand why. They say someone shot a dog with an arrow and left it to die along a Laurel County road. Excuse me. Investigators say the dog was found yesterday along Highway 1023 near London. As WKYT's Phil Pendleton tells us, some animal welfare groups are now looking into this.
It's common to find dogs along Kentucky 1023 in rural Laurel County. Some even lay in the road, which does not get much traffic. But on Monday, drivers saw one of those dogs on the side of the road not moving. One of them called 911.
Where at on 1023?
If you follow 1023 out about 2.5 miles, you'll see Merrimack Church on the left, and it's right past the church and the curb.
First thought was that a car had hit the animal, but a closer look revealed the dog had an arrow in its back.
I don't know if it's meanness or where they just want to kill something. I don't know. I mean, it'd be hard to really know what goes through their mind when they do stuff like that.
The dog's owner says even she came upon the dog and didn't realize it was her beloved Scruffy until later in the day. She says Scruffy was loved by her children and peaceful toward everyone. She says she knows accidents happen, but doubts this was one of them.
Well, what goes through their mind? Why would they want to do something like that? That's just, it's pitiful.
Laurel County 911 officials say a deputy was dispatched to investigate. In Laurel County, Phil Pendleton, WKYT.
The Laurel County Sheriff's Office said they did not have any information on this case. Animal Control also said they were not aware of the situation.
Police still have some unanswered questions about a shooting that killed a 15-year-old Lexington girl. But today, the 4 men charged with wanton endangerment in connection to that case appeared in court for another hearing. Trinity Gay died the morning of October 16th when Lexington police say she was caught in the crossfire of a shootout outside a restaurant on South Broadway. WKYT's Hillary Thornton has an update now on the case.
None of the 4 men charged in this case right now are at this point facing a murder charge. 3 of them actually out of custody on bond. This morning, all of them in the courtroom for their preliminary hearing.
Chazarray Taylor, his son DeMarquio Taylor, Lamonte Williams, and Devonta Middlebrooks all charged with wanton endangerment in connection to the shooting that killed 15-year-old Trinity Gay. The three who are out of custody waiving their preliminary hearings, so without any testimony heard, their cases moving on to the grand jury. Meanwhile, Middlebrooks, the only suspect still in custody, receiving a new date for his hearing. We are told a family member just hired an attorney this week to defend the 21-year-old. Because of that short notice, that attorney unable to make the court date. While their time in front of the judge was brief, this is a case many are keeping a close eye on as they remember the Lafayette student athlete. This weekend, we spoke to Trinity's father, Olympian Tyson Gay, who says he is dedicating himself to mentoring and supporting the community's youth in honor of his daughter.
People need to get out of this mentality of these street thoughts, and understand loving thoughts.
Devonta Middlebrooks' preliminary hearing is now scheduled for November 15th. In Lexington, Hillary Thornton, WKYT.
Middlebrooks is also charged with possession of a handgun by a convicted felon.
Some frightening moments for a Lexington couple when a man with a gun walked into their home. It happened overnight on Culpeper Road near the Chevy Chase area. The couple didn't want to talk on camera, but the husband told us his wife was folding laundry downstairs when the man walked in through the back door, pointed a gun at her, and told her to get down on the floor. The husband heard his wife's screams and said he ran downstairs and found a man in a hoodie running out the back door. He says he ran after the suspect and soon saw another man running with him. Police think the suspects got into a car and drove off. Neighbors say they've noticed other burglaries in that area in recent weeks.
It should be crazy, but it's happened so much recently that it's becoming somewhat normal. I was just talking to my neighbor recently, and we've had so many break-ins and backyard break-ins and thefts that it's becoming sort of the standard, and it shouldn't be.
Lexington police haven't made any arrests for this morning's burglary. They say they don't have a good description of either suspect. New tonight, a third person now faces charges in connection to a home invasion in Lexington last week. Lexington police say they've obtained an arrest warrant for 20-year-old Joseph Fain, and they're now looking for him. He's facing a robbery charge. Last Thursday, police say multiple people forced their way into a home on Red Mile Road as part of a drug-related robbery. During that robbery, police say a 19-year-old suspect and a 22-year-old who was trying to protect a friend were both shot. Lexington police say charges are pending against the suspect who was shot, and they say another suspect, Demetrion Boaz, turned himself in Friday.
New tonight, police in Russell County are telling us they found drugs and thousands of dollars in cash at a Russell Springs home. The Russell County Sheriff's Office says the woman who lives at the home, Dana Sandusky, has been charged with drug trafficking, and deputies say more charges will be filed. While serving a search warrant at Sandusky's home, deputies say they found several ounces of meth along with 3 grams of suspected heroin and other drug paraphernalia. They say they also found more than $6,000 in cash.
It felt a little cooler across the bluegrass today, but we still saw plenty of sunshine, and we're expecting some temperature swings this week. WKYT Chief Meteorologist Chris Bailey has an early look at your forecast. Temperature swings are not good for those of us who suffer from allergies.
That's exactly right. We'd like to get a killing frost in here for all of us folks with some allergies out there. Those fall allergies continue to roll on. We've got a little while to put up with those. Want to show you a sky cam that has some high clouds showing up out there on a beautiful day, but also look at, it's Halloween. So look at what we have on that sky cam. See that little bit of a spider web that is just flowing in the wind there? Well, our little friend has been showing up on this sky cam for the past couple of weeks and spinning a little web on top of our sky cam. Jackson Cam, southeastern Kentucky, mountains and the leaves are looking absolutely picture perfect. You also notice some of those high clouds showing up on the horizon there. Quick drop in temperatures right now. We're going to drop it into the 50s over the next half hour or so into most areas with dry air that is in place. So if you're out this evening, right around sundown, you're talking low and mid 50s into much of central and especially eastern Kentucky. Mid 40s will show up by 11 o'clock or so. Focus of the forecast over the next couple of days will be on a cold front that is now into the Rocky Mountains and the Plain States. That will give us the little yo-yo temperature ride as we go through tomorrow and into Thursday. So your weather headlines, a windy pattern. We track that cold front into town, and we're also focusing on Halloween. Can't find a whole lot of spookiness showing up just yet. 7-day outlook, guys, coming your way in just a matter of minutes.
Chris, thank you. We are actually getting ours tomorrow. Doctors say if you have not received a flu shot yet this season, now is a good time to get one.
And the Franklin County Health Department plans to help out tonight with a free drive-through flu clinic. It began just a few minutes ago at Commonwealth Credit Union on Louisville Road in Frankfort. The clinic will continue until 8 tonight. State health leaders say so far 24 flu cases have been reported statewide this season. But they say there's also a problem with the reporting system right now, so they think the actual number is higher. We have some new information tonight about a story we told you about last night at 6. An accident near the Lexington Humane Society last Friday knocked out the controls of the shelter's sewage pump, and the shelter was paying hundreds of dollars to have a company pump out the sewage. Humane Society leaders told us today that they have ordered the part that they need to fix the sewage pump, and they say they now have enough money to pay for that part and other related expenses. They hope to have everything fixed by the end of the week. The shelter will be open as normal.
It's a demonstration police hope will send an important message to students. A warning behind this mock crash next on WKYT News at 6.
And then a sign of the season in downtown Lexington, what crews are now building at Triangle Park.
Keep up with the latest news on WKYT.com. Join the conversation on Twitter and become a part of the WKYT Facebook family.
Students at one Central Kentucky high school saw an example today on the dangers of distracted driving.
Some law enforcement agencies and businesses teamed up for a mock crash demonstration at West Jessamine High School. In this scenario, a crash caused by distracted driving left multiple people injured and one dead. Students and teachers we talked to say this was an eye-opening experience.
It's like my greatest fear of all times is having to come and identify the body of your own child.
A similar mock crash demonstration will be held tomorrow at East Jessamine High School.
A mother shared an important message with children at a Madison County school today. Nikki Strunk was at Ferristown Middle School in Berea to educate the students about the dangers of drugs as a part of Red Ribbon Week. She says it's really important to her that the community address the drug epidemic. Her son, who died at the age of 24, became addicted when he was just 13.
This is serious, that drugs are serious. It's not a game. It's not just something that's not going to affect you long term, and it could possibly end their life.
The importance of drug prevention is being stressed in middle schools throughout Madison County as a part of Red Ribbon Week.
New tonight, Lexington City leaders say a technical problem affected more than 200 LexServe accounts. They say over the weekend, multiple payment authorization attempts for LexServe bills were made on those accounts by processors belonging to Greater Cincinnati Works. That company administers LexServe bills. City leaders say immediate steps have been taken to fix the problem, and they say there was no breach of private information.
It's another sign that the holidays are just around the corner. Crews are now starting to install the ice rink at Triangle Park in downtown Lexington. Today, they were placing the foundation for the deck of the rink, and once that's finished, they'll start putting in the ice. The ice rink is expected to open sometime around the middle of next month, and you'll be able to skate on it until January.
Now, your hour-by-hour forecast with Chief Meteorologist Chris Bailey.
You know, last year they had a very tough time keeping the ice around. It was so warm at the end of November into December. I do not think that is going to be the same case this go around. So let's soak up what we have out there right now. And 9 live sky cams fired up. Not only are we firing them up officially to give you a view, but they're fired up at the view they're seeing. Mix of sun and clouds across the entire area, and look at this sky right now in Lexington. Sunset lovers getting ready to be absolutely awesome with a fiery sunset with some ice crystal clouds showing up on that western horizon. Upper 50s to low 60s and dropping with each passing minute. Every moment the sun gets a little lower, that temperature is going to drop over the next hour and change. Some of those high clouds continue to filter in across northern Kentucky. So thermometers here in the north today barely getting to 60 degrees. On the other side of this little weak boundary, downright cold, it's snowing into New England. What are we worried about around here? Well, it's a cold front that is out across the Rockies heading into the plains. Warm air out ahead of that, chilly air coming in behind it. Get those two to bump up against one another, and you can get at least a scattering of showers. That does not include tomorrow. Tomorrow's quite the temperature spread. Upper 30s to low 40s to begin the day, low 70s to end it, and then tomorrow evening, clouds will increase, winds will gust up, could be an isolated shower by that time. Hour by hour forecast out this evening. Quick drop into the mid and upper 40s by the time 11 o'clock rolls around. Early tomorrow morning, will you see some upper 30s? Will you see some low 40s? Depends on where the clouds are at that given time. This morning, many of us were down into the middle 30s with a kiss of frost. Tomorrow at lunchtime, 60s. Then all of a sudden, that warm wind begins to blow from the southwest. It's going to boost those temperatures up into the low 70s. Tomorrow evening, it's dry, it's windy, and clouds are going to increase and can throw a shower at us on Thursday. Am I expecting anything that is just widespread? No. And the later that front is arriving on Thursday, better the chance we can blow up a 70 into parts of southeastern Kentucky, and then the numbers drop into the afternoon. Look at 5 o'clock on Thursday. It's got 70, 71 into London, Corbin, 72 Williamsburg, yet 56 into Covington. That's that chillier air that zips in here as we go through the second half of Thursday. 40 show up by Thursday evening, and on Friday morning, similar to tomorrow morning, some upper 30s versus low 40s, all about stars versus the clouds that will be out there. One thing about it, it's windy over the next couple of days, and tomorrow those winds at times will reach 20 to 25 miles an hour, especially as we get into the afternoon and evening. And it's tomorrow night into early Thursday as that cold front is right on top of the area. We can get some gusts approaching 35 miles per hour. And into the second half of Thursday and Thursday evening, that's a chillier wind that will be blowing. So the next 3 days will feature a lot of wind. Temperatures up tomorrow, down a little bit Thursday into Friday, and then by Friday afternoon and evening, we try to go back up, a scattered shower sandwiched in between at some point on Thursday. Not a lot of rain showing up in this 7-day forecast. If you've got some Halloween parties this weekend, or you just want to get out and rake a few leaves, can't imagine that's on your agenda of wanting to do, but the weather looks to cooperate this weekend, early next week.
We think Amber's going to be okay.
I think so.
Have you made it?
I made it.
Yeah.
Sorry, everybody. Sometimes it happens.
This is why I don't need an allergy meter in here,
Yes.
right? This is my
Off
allergy
the
forecast
chart.
right here.
It's also proof this is a live newscast.
That's exactly right. Yep.
Thanks.
Well, just ahead, Coach Cal on his team's shooting.
How good a shooting team will this be? All we have to go on right now is the blue-white game. And Mark Stoops talking about how fast Missouri will play on offense. His team will try to slow the Tigers down Saturday. Sports is next. Kentucky heading for Missouri this weekend, where the Cats will try to win on the road for the first time this season and only the second time in the Mark Stoops era. Missouri only has 2 wins on the year, over Eastern Michigan and Delaware State. The Tigers have lost 3 in a row. Despite that, Mizzou is a slight favorite in the game. Mark Stoops pointing out yesterday how fast Missouri will play on offense.
You know, the challenge there is they play absolutely extremely fast. And so they played 112 offensive snaps last week. Yeah, 112. So that's 2 games. So we need depth is an issue. We can't let them have 112 plays, but depth is an issue, and you have to play with an edge about you and an attitude about you, and you have to strain on 112 plays.
Kicker Austin McGinnis picking up another honor. He is one of 3 Lou Groza Award Stars of the Week for his performance Saturday. McGinnis kicking 4 field goals, including that 51-yard game winner as time ran out. Off to Columbia Saturday. It'll be a noon kickoff on the SEC network for the Cats and the Tigers. And it is back on the road for EKU, where the going has been tough this fall. The Colonels head to UT Martin Saturday, where they'll have to limit turnovers if they're to have a shot at winning. Their last 2 losses, Eastern has turned the ball over 10 times.
I think that's obviously going to be a stat that everybody looks at, not that it's ever overlooked, because it's after you look at the score, that's the first thing that you're looking at is who turned the ball over more and who was able to create turnovers. So that's going to play a key part in this, and who's able to protect the ball the best is going to have a major advantage, and that's been an Achilles heel for us certainly, and obviously just looking at it statistically, it hasn't helped them in any way either.
John Calipari will not have his team back on the Rupp court until Sunday night. That'll be the first exhibition game against Clarion. There are those who have raised the question about the Cats' ability to hit the outside shot. After the blue-white game, Cal said he's not concerned about it.
You know, what we wanted to do is shoot 35% collectively first night, lights on, tired, no subs, and we shot about 35% as between the two groups. We took 33s, 11 for 30, that's 15 a team. That's about right for us.
And the first exhibition game is Sunday night, and it's against John Calipari's alma mater, Clarion. It will tip at 7 o'clock. You can see it on the SEC network. NBA opens tonight with 3 games on the schedule. We were talking last night about how 24 ex-Wildcats are on NBA rosters. There are 113 international players in the NBA. They represent 41 different countries and territories, and that now makes up 25% of the league. So it has changed. Sam Amber, back to you.
Rob Bromley, an encyclopedia of sports facts. Final check of your First Alert forecast with Chris is next.
Then on the CBS Evening News, election hacking has become a major topic on the campaign trail. So just how safe is your vote? All right, we know that Transylvania has its trick-or-treating and the pumpkins tonight. What a great night to get out and enjoy.
They tweeted me a picture a little bit ago of everything going on out there, thanking me for the nice weather. Hey, enjoy it out there. It is perfect. It's going to be nice again tomorrow. Gusty winds, low 70s. A little bit of a change coming up on Thursday with a shower as a possibility. A little cooler, too.
Coming up on the CW election and next, live at 6:30, we have an announcement in Dave Baker's Buzz about a former UK player, something really neat you're going to like.
Check it out, and I'll see you back here tonight at 11.